Jimmy Dore on Tucker Carlson's Today show. And this is Jimmy explaining the dynamic as to why folks like AOC are sellouts, because they're afraid of a challenge from the left.
So what I'm trying to tell people is
why
that when you vote for them, when you vote for somebody inside the Democratic Party, no matter what they say, no matter what they believe, they're going to go along with Nancy Pelosi. And Nancy Pelosi goes along with Goldman Sachs and Raytheon. So when you're voting for someone inside the Democratic Party, you're voting for Goldman Sachs and Raytheon because they are not standing up to those people. So the idea that we have progressives inside the Democratic Party, it's actually more deleterious to the progressive movement to have them there. Why is that, Jimmy? Because it gives people a false impression that there's somebody in government fighting for you, that there's one of the parties that are kind of on your side, and they aren't. And the quicker people realize that both parties are not on their side, they only serve the oligarchy. We are, in fact, in an oligarchy. Your democracy was stolen way before Trump. Until that happens, we won't ever have real change.
But what about Ocasio-Cortez? She's
so
on Instagram.
Wise. That is so wise.
Ocasio-Cortez.
So wise.
Well, hold on.
I've never heard that.
Go back.
He used the word so wise. It is so wise. Deleterious. You almost pronounced that properly. The way I think you come across as smart, Sam, is you steamroll something you've memorized and don't leave any room for questioning. That's how you.
Well, I mean, to be fair, now wait a second. You interrupted here because Tucker did question Jimmy. So let's listen to that question.
Okay.
But what about Ocasio-Cortez? She's on Instagram.
Ocasio-Cortez campaigned on a floor vote on Medicare for all. And she campaigned on creating what she called a ruckus, meaning you have to stop being polite. This is a quote. You have to stop being polite. We tried being polite, and it got us nowhere. And it wasn't until we started acting out and speaking impolitely that we even created the circumstances for change. That's what she tweeted. So I'm just doing what she said. So I started to put heat on people like AOC and Rashid Tlaib and Ro Khanna and all the Justice Democrats in the squad to force the vote. And they said I was committing violence against them with my words. That's how scared they got.
They did not.
Were you?
Not say
That's
that.
how scared. You really telling them to do what they ran on? That's violence? That's how afraid they were. And all the things. So they had people write hit pieces on me in the Daily New York Magazine, Newsweek, BuzzFeed. They tried to shut me down and squelch me. They made me trend on Twitter negatively. But they couldn't shut me up. And they couldn't stop me. And they don't know what to do with me. Because, again, all the usual, they have Wikipedia putting smears on me that I can't get rid of. CNN's calling me. It's unbelievable what's going on. Just a comedian, a pothead comedian in his garage, what you can do when you want to tell the truth inside journalism and politics. And you can create a ruckus. And I did. And so now everybody sees that those people are fakers. And they're corrupt.
Fantastic.
And the reason why I say they're corrupt is not because they take corporate money and do the bidding of corporations.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is the height of intellectualism. When you say, I'm just a comedian, I'm just a moron, I'm just a D's, Dems, and Does guy. That's convincing to me. How is it that I'm a fucking idiot, but I'm getting it right? Even though I'm a fucking idiot. That's brilliant.
Well,
you know what? I salute him. That is such a great rhetorical device. I'm a fucking stupid comic. I'm a moron. I don't read. I don't know anything. How come
I know for a fact he doesn't
smart?
read.
Well, to be fair, he's probably convinced a lot of Tucker Carlson's viewers that AOC isn't the person that she says she is. That's probably, he's probably been able to sort of like bring people around on AOC who watch Tucker Carlson. But continue, Eric, because he's got a very interesting theory. He makes it clear.
Here's the thing that you don't understand. Before you play this brilliant mind, this well-read policy nerd, because that's what he is. Before you play that, what you fail to understand is focus. Jimmy understands focus. You're all over the map. Jimmy has isolated who the enemy is, AOC. AOC, and that is so wise on his part to focus on the most powerful person in Washington, D.C., who she could wake up tomorrow, AOC, and decide, you know what? I do want Medicare for all, and I want it yesterday. And she can go do that. That's how powerful she is. He knows who the oligarchs are. He used the term oligarchs. He knows that only a few people control politics in Washington, D.C. He knows unlike you, he knows who the power players are. The squad. You don't see that the squad is the most powerful? They're like the Trilateral Commission and the Bilderberg Group into one. We need to hammer AOC and Pramila Jayapal every single day. And the fact that they're women of color, that's irrelevant.
Well,
we need to hammer the squad.
To
Sam.
be fair, he also said Ro Khanna.
You know that women of color, or Ro Khanna of color, they are the most powerful people in Washington, D.C. Jimmy's going after the oligarchs.
Yeah. Hey, David, is this
and the squad? They're the most powerful people.
Well, okay.
They're the only thing that's keeping us
David,
from Medicare for all.
Yes, okay. Let's hear Jimmy's explanation of their corruption. It is not the corporate corruption that the Justice Democrats have. Go back a little bit. This is an important point I think he's trying to make here.
Couldn't shut me up, and they couldn't stop me, and they don't know what to do with me because, again, all the usual. They have Wikipedia putting
Hold on one
smears.
second. Since we're here, David, what when he says they don't know what to do with me, like what do they need to do something with him?
Don't you wake up every morning and say, "What are we going to do about Jimmy Dore"?
I mean, I do.
That's the whole.
Of course, but I mean,
haven't you been following?
Well, we don't.
What's
we
been
don't
going
need
on with
to.
the Young Turks?
Well,
I haven't been following that as much as I probably
You
should.
don't wake up every morning. You haven't donated hours of your my entire show, my 16 hour. I spent 16 hours a day talking about Kyle Kalinski's tepid response to Jimmy's attack on Cenk Uygur, because we can't have Medicare for all until we resolve this dispute between the Young Turks and Jimmy.
Okay.
And you don't understand that.
Okay, but
I want Medicare for all, but we can't have Medicare for all until we destroy AOC and the Young Turks.
Who is the they that doesn't know what to do with Jimmy? Is it the Young Turks don't know what to do with Jimmy, or the people?
All of us.
Okay.
All of us. All of
he's
us.
that powerful.
Let's play. Let's continue to play.
Me that I can't get rid. CNN's calling me now. It's unbelievable what's going on. Just a comedian, a pothead comedian in his garage. What you can do when you want to tell the truth inside journalism and politics, and you can create a ruckus. And I did. And so now everybody sees that those people are fakers and they're corrupt. And the reason why I say they're corrupt is not because they take corporate money and do the bidding of corporations, but they're doing the bidding of their own career. Right? Their own self-dealing.
Yeah.
So if I go along with the establishment, I'm going to get a book deal. I'm going to get speaking fees, and I'm going to be in Congress for at least 5 years, and then I get a pension for the rest of my life. That is corrupt, and that's why they're not pushing back. Because Nancy Pelosi could come in and crush you. Hey, we'll fund somebody in a primary to your left, just like she did to Joe Crowley, AOC, right? So that's what they're all afraid of. They're afraid of the power of the establishment taking away what little power and that they have in Congress.
Now,
yes,
David,
AOC.
Wait.
Sorry, Pelosi
That's
is
pretty
funding
wise
it.
stuff coming from a guy in his garage who's got the door shut and the engine running, suffering from carbon monoxide poisoning. I mean, that's pretty wise stuff.
Is Nancy Pelosi
That's a real truth teller?
Nancy
the guy
Pelosi
in his garage smoking pot with the door shut and the engine running.
How many times has Nancy
That's pretty
Pelosi,
smart stuff.
David, how many times has Nancy Pelosi mounted a challenge to an incumbent from their left?
What did Crowley do to make her fund AOC?
Crowley? Did he say Crowley was
he said
a lefty?
I think no. I think the idea
He was trying
that
to say that AOC primaried Crowley from the left, and that that's going to happen to her, but Pelosi's going to be the one funding the leftist challenger.
So wait a second. Should we be rooting for Pelosi?
So it would be a false flag operation.
Wait,
yeah.
That would be a false flag
for
operation.
Pelosi?
Is he selling boner pills? Does he sell boner pills too?
Should we be rooting for Pelosi to fund left challenges to the leftmost? I mean, I'm sort of in favor of that.
Yeah, I hope Pelosi does that.
Yeah, base Pelosi.
Good. But now now, David, I think you know, probably because you are in show business and have had wild success as a show business person, that
you're
if
welcome.
AOC,
you're welcome.
Yes,
I just want to say you're welcome for all that I've given.
There's been a lot of things I'm sure that you have been peripherally involved in that I've enjoyed.
Yes, your show of shows, the Eddie Cantor show.
Right, I remember it. Well, I mean, I saw it at a museum once. But listen, AOC would, if she,
the most powerful person in the world. Yes,
if she were to lose her seat, she'd never get a book deal, right? She would never.
No,
she would not. She would have a tough time making money. She'd probably have to go back to bartending. Is that your sense?
If Jimmy says that, I think it's true.
Well,
I
David,
trust the D's and Dems guy who's never read a book in his life and has to hire writers and smokes dope and attacks women of color.
And maybe some
I
other
trust
things.
that guy.
David, why do you think that he didn't mention Medicare for All in this segment in studio on Tucker's daytime program, or really the Republican Party, for all we know?
Emma. Have you ever heard of three-dimensional chess?
I do. I remember it.
Have you?
I remember it from being discussed many times, but in the Obama administration.
Jimmy Dore is playing three-dimensional diarrhea.
Is that a game?
This is way beyond. Yeah, it's way beyond. It's a level of politics beyond your grasp.
Can I try
three-dimensional diarrhea?
Just to elucidate this, David, because I'm interested in your understanding of this.
What is two-dimensional diarrhea?
Well,
three-dimensional diarrhea. That's what Jimmy's playing.
David, are you familiar with the Nina Turner race and how Hillary has endorsed her opponent? Do you think that the right way to get Medicare for all is to oppose Nina Turner and vote against her?
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you. In all seriousness.
I'm asking, should we oppose Nina Turner so the squad doesn't get more powerful as a way to get Medicare for all faster?
I think that Nina Turner is a threat to democracy, and it's too soon. It's too soon.
Well, David, this has been really enlightening. I am a little surprised with some of the positions that you're taking on things, but that is one of the things why people, I think, tune into your show, the David Feldman Show. It's because you're sometimes a little bit unpredictable.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, again, I donated to Michael Brooks' Legacy Project.
Anonymously. You did
anonymously.
It was very big of you to do that in an anonymous fashion, so that no one would know that.
And
you
it was
donated.
It was a big
donation.
It was a big donation.
Part of it was a mistake.
It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I accidentally added a zero, and it's not bothering me at all. It's like, you know what? Who cares, right? I added an extra zero. Who cares? Let it go. I'm not even thinking about it.
Are you going to try and get your money back?
No, not at all. What? Money back from what? I've already forgotten about accidentally donating too much to the Michael Brooks Legacy Project at patreon.com TMBS. I'm not even thinking about the fact that they probably, you would think, I know we have to wrap it up.
We do.
And I don't really care. I just find this curious. You would think that the people over at the Michael Brooks Legacy Project would have seen my donation and maybe double check to see if that was what I really wanted to donate, because it was so obviously a mistake. Who gives that kind of money?
Certainly not.
You would think that somebody would have seen the extra zero and would have raised a red flag over at the Michael Brooks Legacy Project, and I would have received a phone call double checking. Hey, Mr. Feldman, we noticed you're in Winfield, Connecticut next month, opening for Bobby Collins at the Peace Spot, and we also noticed an extra zero. We noticed you donated $10 instead of $1. Is that extra zero a mistake? That's all. You would just a call.
Wait, $10?
Not an extra zero.
Yeah, hey, you brought that up, not me. And I donate just to donate. I don't need to. Hey, David Feldman, what a magnanimous gesture. No, I don't. That's tacky, Sam, to bring that up.
Well, that's not the way I was raised, but we've already been through that. David, as always, a real pleasure talking to you.
You think I don't care. I really don't care, Emma. I really don't care. They could have double checked with me. I'm not a mathematician, but
You're not.
There is an
That's absolutely
exponential.
correct. You
There's
are not
an exponential lurch. Sam, there's an exponential
David
lurch
Feldman
from $1
of
to
the
$10.
David Feldman Show.
And you
Thank
would
so
think
much for your time
someone
today. I
would
really
have called
appreciate
me and said,
David, thank
you think somebody would have said, David Feldman, host of the
David,
unofficial
thank you so
armchair
much for
expert
joining us.
Dak Shepard
Thank
post-game wrap-up,
Thank you.
where you
Thank you.
review all those amazing
Thank
things
you.
Dak Shepard says. Hey, David Feldman, are you sure about this? Are you sure you want to donate this much? You would.
Yeah, we had to let him go. Sorry about that, folks. That was
What was the Dak Shepard post-game wrap-up?
I have no idea what was going on with any of that. Folks, there's more of what you've just saw where that came from. That's if you hit the subscribe and like button. Thank you. Really, thank you.